Morning.
Morning.
I hope that everyone on Facebook can hear us. If you happen to be on Facebook as well and you're just tuning into this, I'm going to try and open my phone and see if we've got all of this going on so I can actually see you
Okay.
or hear you and all of that kind of stuff. It looks like everything is working just fine from my end.
Me too.
I hear a bit of an odd something in the background, but I don't know what that is. So thank you so much, Heather, for joining me on this Facebook Live on Spirit Right's Facebook page.
Thank
And
you so much for having me.
I'm very grateful because it's lovely to be able to collaborate with other absolutely amazing people who do amazing things that my community at Spirit Right don't know about. Perhaps some of the people that are in my community that have come to Mommy Connections in Oakville still reach out to might have met you, but for those that don't, please tell me a bit about yourself. What is it? I mean, I know what you do, and I know that you run Mommy Connections in Oakville, but tell me just briefly how you came to be
Sure.
the
Thank you.
Mommy
Um,
Connections.
so I'm from Toronto and I moved to Oakville 3 years ago now. I come from a corporate background, so this is my first time being an entrepreneur and I love it. I have three children and they range in age. It's a pretty wide gap. I have a 16-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 2-year-old. Um, So it's kind of crazy, the teenager, the kid, and the toddler. Um, but I actually took a Mommy Connections class, and that's where I met you for the first time. So that was almost 5 years ago. Um, but the friends that I made at the Mommy Connections class in Toronto, I'm still friends with today. I posted on my Instagram last night because it's so inspiring. So when I moved to Oakville, the opportunity came for me to start Mommy Connections Oakville, and I decided just to go for it. Like I said, I had such a good experience at the Toronto group and I loved it. And I wanted to bring that to Oakville for all the moms here. So
Yes.
that's the story of how it started.
That's amazing. And from what I've seen, it's grown and grown and grown. So there's such a need for moms to come together. I had the I was lucky enough to first of all have a midwife for the birth of both of my kids, but after my first daughter was born and I didn't know what I was going to do, at my midwife office, she said, "You've got to join this moms group. Why don't you do this?" And I honestly at the time thought, I don't want to do that. We're just
Yeah.
ladies all day long. What are you talking about? And
Yeah.
off I went to my mom's group, which we had about 15, I don't know, maybe 14 moms. And we used to go to everyone's house every single week. And I swear to God, that group saved my life.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. The connections that I made, I am still friends with those people today. And my eldest is 14.
Yeah.
We have
It's
been
pretty powerful.
so much together. It's such a vulnerable time, and you don't realize the support that's needed and the support that you get from
Yeah.
from these situations. Now, Mommy Connections is unique because I come and speak at Mommy Connections, and I know that you have other speakers that come in. And so, for anyone that's not really sure about what Mommy Connections is, can you just explain that a little bit?
Yeah. So I'll talk a little bit about my mom and baby class because that's what we're talking about today. So the mom and baby class runs in an 8-week session. And every week I have two different presenters come in, or on days when it's a really big topic to cover, like when you come in to talk about nutrition, we have one presenter that week.
Right.
Um, but we do all kinds of things. Like we talk about nutrition. My naturopath comes in and talks. She always has a different subject, whether it's postpartum depression and anxiety or just overall wellness. And then we do a fitness aspect too. Like we'll have a little mom and baby yoga or Pilates just to get the moms, moving a little bit. And it's fun. Like I love it. I think the moms really connect, and that's the whole point of the program is to build connections and friendships, like you said, to save you from all of that isolation and sometimes loneliness. Like it's really weird, you have a baby and they're with you 24 hours a day and you think, how could I possibly be lonely right now? This person doesn't leave my side. But you're in your house and it's very isolating. So just to get them out every week, I think is really important.
And do you see over this 8 weeks um, a change or do you see the connections happening over that time, over the weeks when the moms keep on coming back and the relationships building? And I don't know, I can only just imagine that over time that there's just these connections, these growing connections that are happening, and these relationships that are building. That must be such a blessing to watch and to see.
It is a blessing. And there's one week in particular when we have a business coach or a career coach come in, and she talks about who we were before moms. And I think it opens up this whole new conversation, and we get to know each other so much more and so much deeper, talking about who we were before and not just in this moment. And I think that class is very important for the development of the group, because you really get to know people on a deeper level. And the more you share, the more we share. I share too. Like, I'm there in every class sharing as well.
Yes.
And the more we all share, the more we get to know each other and the deeper the connections are. So yeah, I definitely see a progression over the 8 weeks. And by the end of the 8 weeks, we always go for coffee or lunch at the end. And everybody's talking. We have a great time, and being out of the classroom environment also adds another aspect too, where people just, you're just yourself. So
can you share, without naming names or anything, can you share any of those, a story or two with us that really resonated for you when, in this environment, when moms are sharing?
So something I started doing in the past year, which I really love, is on the first day of class. So the first day of the class, I don't overbook anything. We come in, we really get to know each other, because you're walking into a group of 15 women that you've never seen in your life. Like, it's intimidating. Well, I was intimidated. So something I started doing the past year is asking the moms to share one thing that really surprised them about motherhood. And it's all anonymous. I just give them a piece of paper and a pen. They put the paper in a jar, and I read them out. It's, like I said, it's all anonymous. Nobody has to say. But there's 3 things that are written down that I get every single session. So the first one is the crying and how emotional motherhood is. I think everybody is so shocked by this. And I don't think it's something we talk about. I don't think it's something you would tell a mom to be like, watch out, you're going to cry all the time. I mean, it's like, I think it's good.
The mom crying or the baby crying?
Both. Actually, both. But like, I think I try to tell people this now just so that they're not in shock after they have the baby, when their partner makes them the wrong sandwich and they're bawling, or Starbucks gives them the wrong drink and they're bawling, or the baby won't stop crying. Like, it's something that I think maybe we should be preparing moms for a little bit more, because it sometimes feels overwhelming and shocking. And I know myself, for all 3, I definitely went through that. And the first few weeks, as you know, are just sleep deprivation, and everything just adds up, and you cry. You cry.
Yeah.
It's overwhelming.
That was the first one that you see a lot.
The first one. The second one is breastfeeding / bottle feeding, whatever way you choose to feed. But a lot of times I get moms saying that they did not expect that breastfeeding was going to be as difficult as it is. And I would encourage moms to actually have lactation consultants and feeding consultants lined up before they have the baby, just so that the name and the information and everything is at your fingertips in those first couple weeks when you really need that support, and you can just quickly reach out and have someone to call, I think is really important.
Even reach out to them beforehand, have a conversation, find out that this is the person that you actually want to go to in your moments of need, because there are so many. Have a clinic, set up, Dr. Newman on speed dial, whatever it looks like. No, I had tremendous support from my midwives, and for 10 days, I believe they still do the same thing. My kids are obviously a bit older, but they came to my house every single day for the first few days. and they were on speed dial and I would call them, but not everyone has a midwife, which is totally fine. That was just my choice to have that caregiver for me.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to line up other people, postpartum doulas or another option that might be able to also steer. I can recommend, I'm sure you can recommend so many lactation consultants or clinics and things like that. So reach out to your community. I had a terrible time breastfeeding. I stuck at it, but there's not many stories of breastfeeding moms or even bottle feeding moms, because is the bottle working? Is there gassiness? Which formula do I use? Those are the questions that I get from moms from a nutrition standpoint. Which formula do I choose as I go down that aisle? Because I'm not sure if this one is working for my baby. There's a lot of gassiness, there's spit up, there's all of these kind of things. So yeah, it's huge.
I agree. And I tell moms all the time, whether you're a mom that has gone through my classes or not, please reach out. I have so many contacts that I'm happy to share, and you do as well. Like if ever in need, please reach out to us, and we're happy to send the information through.
Yeah. No,
and can help.
Feeding is huge. Are there any other themes or anything else, or is there something that really stuck?
So the other one that I get all the time is the recovery after birth. Everybody is surprised by that, because I think we do a really good job at preparing for baby. Mm-hmm. We do the nursery and the crib and the clothes and all of the toys and everything else we need. Yes. I don't think we really are prepared or ready for what happens after birth. And that is definitely something I hear in every session. And the whole point of doing this exercise at the first day of class is really just to bring the moms together and connect them and let them know that we're all going through the exact same experience. And people share a lot during this time. Like, I think it's a time where people can really connect to each other and know that we're all in the same boat, and it's not easy for anybody. No matter what you see on social media, etc., like it's hard. It's hard the first bit. So
the photos of the moms and the celebs, and they've got the perfect carrier. Actually, no, not even a carrier, just carrying the baby, and they're all spelt. And I so remember on day 3, I think it was, my midwife said, just prepare yourself. And this was one thing that really stuck for me that might help anybody else that's watching, is on day 3, just it's sort of the day of fluid, I think was what. So your milk comes in, so you're just leaking and oozing everywhere. You're still bleeding. The baby is pooing and peeing, and there's just explosions and maybe spit up, and it's just everywhere.
Yeah.
And your hormones are on day 3, was what she shared with me. On day, they're just raging. So you're crying and they're crying, and there's just like this mass exodus of fluid out of you.
Yeah.
And it is just such an emotional, time. And I think that tip, and then also about the growth spurt. So in all the 3s and 6s, you just have to know. So 3 days, 6 days, 3 weeks, 6 weeks, 3 months, 6 months, all the 3s and 6s in your baby's life. If you're a breastfeeding mom, then they are going to be attached to you for at least 24 hours, because they just start nursing and they don't stop. And then I even have a lot of moms at that point reaching out thinking, I'm not producing enough milk. My baby is never satiated. They're just crying all the time. But in that growth spurt, the more that your baby nurses, the more they're bringing all the more milk and more demand, to increasing those hormones for more breast milk production to get them to the next level.
Yeah.
And I think those 2 things are things that I might have written down on your, not realizing that all of these different things happen, and when people don't necessarily talk about it openly, then you don't realize, and then the doubt starts, and then the lack of confidence starts, and then you get to talk to other people and realize that no, you're not alone.
Yeah, I think it's a big shock to the system too, because we're out in the world and we're CEOs and managers and we own our own businesses and we do our thing and we're very confident in life. And then we have a baby, become a mother, and all of a sudden our confidence just tanks and we question everything and we have anxiety and it's like, who are we?
Yes, yes. It is such an upheaval in what we knew to be true before. And I think knowing that you're going to need the support. When I sat in my midwife office when Logan was 9 weeks, 5 weeks old, and she said, "Why don't you join this? Why don't you join this group? You don't really know too many moms with new babies." And I'm thinking, honestly, like, really? Do I need to do that? Do I want to do that?
Yeah.
Well, okay, if you insist. And the conversations that we had, the discussions that we had, I remember, I think Logan might have been somewhere about 7 or 8 months. I brought up the topic and I just said, I just have to ask everybody, is anyone having sex yet?
Oh, yeah, totally.
And it was like the whole room exhaled.
Yeah.
We had this discussion and it just, everything, the bond just got deeper because, talking about intimacy and talking about, how many stitches you had and all those kind of things is, it's pretty personal. And,
It is.
you're still feeling like, I don't even know where to begin. I'm so tired, but, I kind of am slightly attracted to him, but he's the one that got me in this mess in the first place. There's so much that, that goes on. And for me, it was that mom's group that kept asking me questions about how do I feed my baby, because they knew I was a nutritionist. And that in part was where Sprout Right came from. So
Came from a place of need.
you never, ever, ever know when you decide to take that next step and to trust the unknown and to move into that place of being vulnerable. So
Yeah.
I commend you. I commend Mommy Connections. I speak for a lot of the different Mommy Connections chapters, and it's a beautiful thing for a new mom to have that really safe space to be able to go and connect and ask those really difficult questions and find out you really are pretty normal.
You are pretty normal. And I think the more we share, the more that other people can hear themselves in the person sitting beside them. And it makes you feel a little bit better just to know that somebody else is going through the same experience and that you're not crazy or you're not a terrible person or you're not a bad mom. Because
And also find out what the baby's doing, because there's always that comparison.
Yeah.
And if really none of them are sleeping and, and everyone at home thinks that they should be sleeping, then you have a bit of an understanding of no one's sleeping. It's not just us. It's
a bit of a relief.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I hear a lot of moms say like, oh, but my mother said, and my mother-in-law said, and my aunt said, and this and that. But when everyone else in the group is going through the same thing, you're right. Like it's such a relief.
Yeah. You're all at the same level.
But hey, Mommy Connections wouldn't be anything without you and the other presenters, because you guys really make the programs great. The information that you share is so valuable and so important.
Yes. Yeah. I was speaking on Thursday at one of your groups, and I had some absolutely lovely emails from
the
moms afterwards. One mom in particular was having a lot of challenges with a diaper rash that just would not go away. We started antibiotics, and within 2 days, it's almost gone. And another mom who said, thank you so much for all of that information. So I'm thrilled to be able to have the space to be able to share, and the attention, and you organize the moms and I turn up and just share what I know and what I share what I can in the time that we have. So
well, it works.
Good. Yes. Well, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me.
For anyone who has watched us live, thank you for being here. There's the opportunity to post any questions at all underneath, because this will be live on Sprout Right's page. Heather, you can share it on your page too. And if anybody particular nutrition questions and you want to pop them in there and tag me, then it'll show up and then I'll be able to answer your questions. And then on Sprout Rights page, do the same for Heather. She can give you information about any of the Mommy Connections chapters, because they are actually all the way across Canada. So wherever you happen to be, you can find.
And I'm happy to answer any questions too, or direct people to other locations as well.
Yep, we're here for you. Thank you. All
Thank
right.
you.
Well, beautiful day, everyone, and we'll see you on Sprout Rights page in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. Bye.